Hey everyone, it's Richard Metalfan here, finishing up the Testament discography review, and today we're going to be looking into Dark Roots of Earth by Testament, the band's, I believe, 10th or 11th album, but released in 2012. Now, with this album is, of course, hard to believe following up the best comeback album, The Formation of Damnation. Testament returns again with Dark Roots of Earth, and with this album, they have a little bit of a lineup change. Returning on the drums is the great Gene Hoglan, who the last time he was on a Testament album was he played on the Demonic album. And I feel like he really brings a lot of his flavor into the album. And this album, compared to like Formation of Damnation, I mean, this album has some epicness, but it's not as like on the same epic scale as it was on Formation of Damnation. Although I'm not gonna shit on that album. That's pretty much a great album. But this album I think is pretty good, and it's really great. One thing to note is just the guitar work on this album is great. I mean, Eric Peterson comes up with some really great riffs. He's one of the best riff writers, and like Alex Skolnick's guitar soloing is just superb and just gnarly sick. And I know he's like also a jazz musician. When he's not doing stuff with Testament, he's also a jazz player. The bass is pretty audible. Greg Christensen's bass playing, and this is actually the last album they played on before he left the band. I think it was like a year or two after this album came out. Drumming wise, Gene Hoglan, God, I don't even know how he does it. Like his drumming is just really, it's just amazing, and just vocally, Chuck Billy, I don't even know how he does it at this age. He combines sort of like especially with like sort of like last album or so, he has like that death metal kind of vocals, but sort of like thrashiness vocals that he's well known for, like the early album. So in fact, I feel like this album kind of like reminds me of stuff like the 80s or stuff, even like Souls of Black, which in my opinion is probably my favorite Testament album, but that's besides the point. So I'm getting way off track. Let's just dive into this album track by track. Now, starting things up, which is easily one of the best songs on the album, which is Rise Up, which is that fast-paced and catchy call and response chorus, which I think it's pretty cool. Like if I say and you say, hey, and this band was really just a powerhouse of musicianship, and based on that, and just like Eric's riffs are crushing, Alex's leads are blistering, the bass lines have never been better, and Chuck is just a monster vocalist, and Gene Hoglan is just Gene Hoglan. And I feel like the vocals really just stand out tremendously and push the album, not pushed the already great song into just something truly memorable. And it's clocking in at like 4 minutes and 18 seconds. It's like the shortest song on the album, and this could be a drawback for the listener, but certainly didn't waste time with the song right here. Anyway, the next song on the album is called Native Blood, and this is apparently a single as they released the video for it. And the song doesn't fall short. It's just boasting a strong chugging verse and emotion that can be felt in Chuck's voice. And I just really love like the chorus, just blast beats, which, yeah, I don't think you can really heard any blast beats from a Testament album since probably The Gathering when they had Dave Lombardo play drums on that. But just Gene just does a really great job on here, and I just love it. Anyway, then we go into the title track of the album, Dark Roots of Earth, which is next, which has a very eerie verse section that builds sort of like a stronger and stronger up to each chorus. And the song implies some deep meaning, and it sounds as it should be expected from the title. And there's a good deal of lead work with one after each of the first two choruses, and a very climactic like solo. It's just full of deep bends, and it serves sort of like the vague meaning behind the lyrics and adds a lot of texture that is necessary for a song like this. Anyway, then moving on to then we move on to A Day in the Death, which is just a really good song. I don't even know what to say. Just this whole song, the thing is great. And then we go into a Cold Embrace, which is sort of like the ballad of the album, and one of the most stronger tracks on here. And it's kind of reminds me a little bit of like Return to Serenity in the right of ways. And this song is excellently written. It never gets too heavy, and it never sits too long in a section to get boring. And the transitions are very smooth. And even though Chuck isn't the greatest singer in the world, I wouldn't be the same without him. And I feel like the bass on here, I wish kind of was a little bit heard on here. I could tell the line is good, but it would have been nice to hear it stand out for where it was, so, especially like in the acoustic parts. Then we go into Man Kills Mankind, which has like some sections that are like some people this or some people that, and they're possible to ignore, and they sort of like detract from the album, but I just think it's a good song. Then we go into to the next song in here, which is Throne of Thorns, Orange. It kind of might seem like it's kind of like reminds you a little bit of Cold Embrace, but it's far different. It's much more like the other fast thrashy songs on the album, but it's still different in various immediate sections that make it so long. It's just the chorus is just very like strong, and the competition to rise up. It's like the coolest on the album. And it's cheesy yet something you can't help but sing along to. And like the one gripe I have with this album, unless if you get like the special edition, which the copy I hear, like one of the bonus tracks is an extended version, which goes on for like another like 30 or 40 seconds long. I don't even know why that couldn't be like was one of the final mixes on there. I just feel like my own little minor gripe is like I just think it's just kind of unnecessary, but that's just me. And then we go into the last original track on the album, or from the standard edition, which is The Last Stand of Independence, which is a strong finisher and a great standout track in general. And this is the one track that stands out on all levels. The bass is even the big element in the song as well. Probably the most audible throughout this whole album, one of the standouts that Greg had done. And although the rhythm of the song should not be set aside, the vocals and the lead guitar are what pushes it to an exceptional level. And if this is the end of the album to the listener, satisfaction should be at least feelings are left. Yeah, and then the last thing to talk about is they actually, on the special edition, they actually did 3 covers, which they covered Dragon Attack by Queen, Animal Magnetism by Scorpion, and Power Slave by Iron Maiden. And they're just covered extremely well, of course. And probably my favorite song on there is, or the cover version is their cover of Power Slave. And they really enjoyed that version. It kind of just sounds like the original, but just Testament kind of like adds their own mix to it. And there's actually like the iTunes bonus edition, which has a song called A Day in the Death, which actually features a former Lamb of God drummer, Chris Adler, on the drums. But yeah, but and of course I already mentioned the extended version of Throne of Thorns. I can't even speak today, but I just feel like that, I don't know why they just didn't have the extended version be just part of the make the final cut of the album instead of having the deluxe edition. But that's just me. So overall, Dark Roots of Earth by Testament is a great album, great follow-up to their comeback album, The Formation of Damnation. So I had to give this album a score. I'm probably gonna give this a solid 9 out of 10. So yep, that's my review of Dark Roots of Earth, guys. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about it, and I'll see you all in the next video. And as always, keep it metal.